You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the May 27th meeting of the LaPorte County Regional Sewer and Water District Board. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Go ahead, John. I'll just follow something.
Going to call the meeting of the LaPorte County Regional Sewer District to order for May 27th, 2025. If everybody could please rise and salute the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
John Carr.
Here.
Marcella Kunstick. Here. Jerry Jackson.
Here.
Mitch Bishop. Corey Campbell. Not here. Mitch was not here. Mark Danielson.
Here.
Amanda Laners.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay. Minutes from April 29th.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
We got motion and second to approve the minutes. Are there any questions? Proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by the word aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Public comment. Anybody here for public comment? Anyone wishing to speak needs to state their name and address for the record and we'll have 3 minutes to speak. Anybody online for public comment? Public comment? Moving on, nobody here for public comment. Moving on to reports. Steve Carter, Claims and Finance.
Financials for the month of April are being presented for Hudson-Saucony. Balances ending 4/30/25. Total balances $1,996,558.63. We had claims paid for the month of $149,871 and interest income of $7,395. For Rolling Prairie, ending balances of $324,023.08. Receipts for the month, $13,992. Operating disbursements, $25,866.87. Interest income, $395. And the loan principal payment to the county, major moves, $1,830. Fund balances break out as Operation and Maintenance Fund, $260,542. Debt Service Reserve, $8,500. On an interest account, $54,980.54. For the toll road account, ending balances for the month, $585,620.60. One receipt for the month, $26,960. Operating disbursements, $21,968. Interest income, $1,608. Fund balances, operating fund, $215,367, and the improvement fund, $370,253. Claims presented today to be paid, $74,116.77.
Motion to approve?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the claims. Any questions? Proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by the word aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Asbury. Chris, you got a report?
Chris, you're on mute. He's off mute.
No sound.
It's true.
Can't hear Steve either. Happened before.
Nobody's hijacking it, are they?
No interest.
Yeah, I'll avert my eyes.
Yeah, no, no
I wouldn't have
interest.
said I was scarred from it.
Movies. Yeah. Somewhere between a C and an A.
We're off to a good start.
Okay.
Can we call them?
Chris, do you want to call in on my cell phone?
He's probably out in Nowheresville, right?
I don't know.
I don't know if he can hear you.
We're having a problem with JPR's update too, right?
Listen. Can't help it.
It's this TV. This happened before.
My
Did it?
girlfriend bought it for me.
They can hear each other, but we can't hear them. Hey, Chris,
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
we can hear you now.
Okay. As far as the report, operationally wise, everything was okay. We have a lot of things that are ready to happen in the wings. We're getting ready to haul sludge.
Sludge.
We're getting ready to replace the hydrant
Okay.
next to the waste treatment plant. We're getting ready to accept ferric for treatment at the waste treatment plant. Other than that, I'm working with Tom Asbury on getting all the upcoming bills that may occur annually, and I think we'll need to talk to the engineer people at JPR to make sure that we're not doing something that is not going to be useful at the eventually at the new plant. Is there any questions?
Any questions?
No.
Nope.
Jerry? No? Amanda? Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Okay, next up is JPR. Are they going to have to call in too?
Yeah, I
think-
think so. We'll have to have Steve or Dan call in. I don't know what's going on. Sorry.
It's all right. It happens.
Hey, Dan.
Hey, Jennifer, you hear me okay?
Yep.
Oh, hold on. I'll let him feedback. All right, that'll probably be better.
Okay. I guess.
All right. To give you guys this on the phase one project. Hang on, I'm going to mute
It's a little echoey.
my speakers. I'm getting a ton of feedback.
Hold on.
Okay. Are we good?
Yep.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Thank you. On the phase one project, we reached closing last week on the 22nd. Regarding phases, going down my project status report for wastewater treatment plant related topics. We're going to continue to work on wastewater treatment plant expansion for phases 2 and 3 later on in 2025 and into 26. We held a meeting hosted by Thieneman Construction a while back. And the district is going to look at potentially using a build, operate, transfer project funding model for that, specifically for that wastewater plant project. We'll have more information on that as we go forward. Regarding wastewater collection system topics, I attached the final notices of award for phase one contracts A and B. Contract A to TGB Unlimited, and Contract B to Selge Construction. And those are attached for board execution. So I'd like to request the board authorize to have those notices of award signed off so I can forward them to the contractors. We previously forwarded a tentative notice of award after bidding. So this would be the final notice of award since funding's been secured.
And Dan, we're ready regarding the monitoring of the Davis-Bacon wages. We did get that set up.
Sorry, say that one more time.
You were saying that we would have to contact a third party to monitor the wages because it's...
We do need a third party to monitor the wages.
Okay,
Yeah, and that was part of the project budget.
okay. So we need to...
So we will have to hire that person.
Okay. Do you guys have somebody that does that, or?
Yeah, we have someone we work with quite often, Lori Shipman with Lori Shipman Consulting.
Okay,
We can reach out to her on your behalf.
okay. That would be awesome. And then how do we go about monitoring that? How does that work? Will she turn them over to JPR?
So, Steve, can you? Well, I guess Steve probably can't chime in without calling in, but I know that they hold direct interviews with employees of the contractors on site.
Okay.
I believe they report directly to the SRF.
Yeah, I think we used her last time, Rolling Prairie, and I recall I don't think we really had much involvement with
I
it.
don't know how to do it.
But I would like to
Yeah.
monitor it, so I would like a contact. So I guess as we move forward, we can discuss it when the project gets rolling.
Yeah, she does all of that.
Okay,
I don't know how to do a three-way calling without cutting him off right now, so.
thanks, Dan.
Well, maybe we just let Dan wrap up whatever he's got to say, and then we'll
Okay,
cut into
yeah.
Steve.
Okay, so the first topic is I'm requesting the district authorize those two notices of award. We need board action on that.
Okay.
Do we want to
Do
do
you-
that?
Dan, do you need not only a vote for the notice of award, but do you need authorization for John to sign the contracts on behalf of the board?
We are not signing the contracts today.
Okay.
The contracts are just there for district board review. We'll be forwarding those to the contractors to assemble bonds and everything in advance of the pre-construction meeting.
Okay.
So the only thing I need authorized by the district board at this time are the two notices of award.
And just FYI, Dan shared both Contract A and Contract B with me, and I reviewed them. Had a quick question to Dan, but I'm perfectly fine with both contracts.
Okay, so you want to do that now, or do you want to do it later?
Well, we don't have to approve the contracts. We're not ready for that, but I think it's appropriate to have the notice of contract award on both contracts A and B.
So this is just approving the notice of award.
Correct.
You want to do it now?
I think so, yeah,
But-
absolutely.
Make the motion to notice of reward for contract A and B.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to send the notice of award for contracts A and B in a second. Are there any questions on the motion? Proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by word aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it.
All right, John, if you can just electronically sign those and get them over to me via email, that'd be fine. They should be in the boardable docs. So, beyond that, as I mentioned, there were copies of the construction contracts for contracts A and B there in the boardable docs for you guys to review. If you have any comments, let me know, but otherwise, these are largely the same as the documents that were in the project manuals. So, on to project permitting, I do have a good update there. We have the NICTD railroad crossing permit. We got all that squared away with the railroad. So now we have all permits in hand for construction.
That's good.
Update on easements. With regard to the phase one project, we currently hold 82.3% of the easements out of the 102 parcels that require easements, and we have all that we need to construct the project. So any easements that we don't have in hand, what we can, if we do not get them, what we can do is either install the grinder in the right of way if that's possible. Oftentimes it's not, but these property owners would still be issued a bill, despite the fact that they don't have a signed easement. I think Steve's discussed that at previous meetings, and he can expound on it a little more when he jumps on here. On to item 6, project timeline. Now that we're past closing, I'm just going to keep this timeline in the in the updates on a monthly basis. This is just kind of the phase 1 construction contract timeline. So we're looking at the contracts being signed in June of this year, with notice to proceed at roughly the same time, and a pre-construction meeting being held around the same time as that. We're not expecting construction to actually begin until August of this year.
Okay.
Substantial completion on the project is November of this year, with final completion taking place, or sorry, November of next year, with final completion taking place in December of 26.
Okay.
So you guys have any questions on anything?
Yeah,
And,
just,
oh, I'm sorry.
no, just real quick on the easements.
Sorry, I'm holding a baby.
Awesome.
That's all right. She can chime in anytime she wants. On the easements with 82%, you're still going to continue to pursue those, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay, that's all I needed. Thank you.
And my only comment was, I think you've got a typo, Dan, which if we're going to see this for the next year and a half, the connection should probably be January 2027, correct? Not 2026.
Oh, yes, you're correct. Sorry about that. I'll get that fixed for the next one.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, awesome, guys. Thank you.
And
Thank you.
Yep, take care.
so cute.
Okay, do we need to have Steve hop on?
Here he comes.
All right, Steve.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, good morning. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
All right. A couple things regarding the wage compliance and monitoring. We'll have a proposal to you in the June meeting from Shipman Consulting. And I believe you are correct that she did provide those services for the Rolling Prairie project.
Okay.
Second item, we will also have contracts back from the contractor in about 2 weeks. That will give us time and Barry time to do a final review. And we'll present those to the board for final signature at the June meeting. Then the last item, Jennifer, is there a topic on the agenda regarding when we're going to start billing?
Yeah, that's a line item to discuss, yes.
Start date.
Okay. My only comment on that is that typically you can start an interim billing once construction starts. And we'll rely on Barry to interpret what that means, whether that means when we sign the contracts in June or when a contractor actually mobilizes on site. Right now, while Dan has shown August, my latest update from both contractors is it will likely be September before they mobilize on site.
Yeah. Right.
And I don't know that there is any great interpretation. I mean, there's no case law, there's no statutory interpretation. It's a matter of kind of practice. So I in talking to both Steve and JPR, I think, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, you've seen it both ways. You've seen people wait till actually there are construction pieces of equipment on site, or it could start as soon as July. That's really an issue for the board, and it's an issue of finances. I'm going to guess that our financial counsel over here would want to probably move as quickly as possible because we're going to have payments coming due, and we're going to need incoming cash to make those payments. Certainly from a PR standpoint, to me, it looks a little better if there's, one excavator laying around somewhere on the job site to imply that we're actually working in the real world, not just theoretical. But we're pretty close regardless, right? We're probably talking July versus August or September, but those 2 months might make a big difference. But certainly no later than, I would say we start, the latest would be August, and then a bill go out in September for August billing. That would be the latest. The soonest, I suppose, would be June, and a bill goes out July. So Steve could probably weigh in about whether that 2-month difference is significant, and it might be.
I guess my thoughts are it's already tight, but let me back up to my interpretation, rightly or wrongly, is once you've closed on a loan, you're incurring expense. We've closed on the loan.
Yeah.
We have an obligation. It's technically you have a 0% interest, but you do have a principal payment in January. So the sooner we can start that billing, the better. The backup is if the revenue is not sufficient from rates to make that payment, then essentially we are capitalizing it, meaning we're going to use band proceeds to pay bonds. And so we're just digging into the bands at that point and kicking the can down the road. So the sooner we can get to collecting from customers, the better, in my opinion.
Okay.
And we'd be billing just for the capital.
Yeah, 50%.
Yep, 50% of what will be the ultimate rate, correct.
We lost Steve.
You said our first payment's January?
Yes, January 1st.
How much is that?
I think it's 39,000,
You got disconnected, Steve. You-
29,000. I have to go back and look.
And that's
I'm
what
sorry.
will be the monthly payment going forward?
No, it'll be, I think it's 45,000 every 6 months after that.
Get it started and
Yeah.
go from there, per your recommendation.
So it's not monthly, it's twice
Every
a year?
6 months,
Yeah,
yes.
twice a year.
We should
I mean,
probably,
we're going to make monthly transfers, I believe, per the schedule. I have to go back and look, but I think we've got an agreement with Boney to make monthly transfers.
Okay.
Okay, we got some time.
is Steve back?
No,
Oh,
Okay,
So,
he's trying.
he's trying.
but we probably ought to make a board decision
Sure.
today about what the board's thoughts are, so that now it would be Asbury, I suppose, would have to get
Correct.
the billing kind of ready to go. And I'm not sure how quickly they need,
There we go.
I don't know how quickly they can mobilize, because this is a whole new group of
Right. As long
customers
as
and addresses.
As long as they get the customers and addresses, I've talked to Kevin. I think they're prepared to send out a June billing for payment in July.
Hello?
That would be good.
well, I don't want to send it out before we even start. I mean, that's just gonna.
Before they mobilize?
Right.
Like,
We asked Sells to put a big excavator somewhere.
It's, yeah, as soon as the contracts come back from him in a couple weeks, if they could put a piece of equipment out there or someone, it's a lot easier to
months on
get
the
money if you can say the project is starting
yeah.
or someone's there.
Maybe a kind of a compromise between both extremes is, since we know the contract will probably be executed in the June meeting, maybe we do July billing to payable in August, kind of as at least then we're under
Yeah.
contract. There's kind of no going back.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay.
That would be maybe a good compromise.
Yeah.
I'll make that as a motion.
And I have one other question for Steve.
Well,
Go ahead. We have to vote on it. I apologize. Go.
Second, then.
So we got a motion and a second to start, send the first billing notice in July to be paid by the end of August.
Sounds good.
Is that correct?
I think that's correct, yes.
Okay. Any questions? Proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by word aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. What was that, Marce?
Steve, do we know if there's any other company out there that does the wage compliance? Like, could we get like 2 quotes for that?
I will check around.
Just curious.
Good idea.
It's just fair.
Seems to be a pretty limited field,
Okay.
but yes, we can reach out to a couple other firms that do that type of work, which is primarily grant writing, but they also offer this as a service.
Okay. I just kind of like to keep it fair, you know?
Yep. We're working with a grant writer in a project in Walkerton, Marshall County. So maybe I'll reach out to them to see if they do that.
That'd be great. I appreciate it. Thanks, Steve.
All right.
Who did that motion in second? It was Mark, and who's second?
Jerry.
Jerry. Thank you.
Okay, executive committee, is that where we're at?
Well, we have a couple.
I have, this is Steve. I have one more item under JPR, if I could.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Steve.
We have, by we, I mean JPR, has been approached by a property owner in LaPorte County, just west of the toll road or of the travel plaza on the north side. It's referred to as the Share Foundation. And they do some on-site housing for handicapped individuals.
Okay.
Our understanding is that they currently they have roughly 32 housing units right now, which appear to be primarily duplexes or quadplexes on like 70 acres of land. They are apparently considering some expansion where they may more than double their housing units. And they have informally expressed an interest in having water and sewer service provided by the regional sewer district.
What's the location again?
It is just about a quarter mile west of Travel Plaza 3.
Okay.
They're on the north side of the toll road.
Oh.
And their property fronts County Road 300 East.
I think Mark's familiar with that place.
I'm sorry?
I said, you're familiar with the Share Foundation, right?
Yes.
And my main question to the board was, do you have any issues with JPR reaching out to them and, getting more information?
Share Foundation out there.
And perhaps, some consideration from the board that if we have capacity, if developer pays for the extensions, et cetera, that we would take them on as a customer.
I mean, we've built a couple buildings out there. They've been very easy to work with, and it's a great organization.
Capacity, why not?
I mean, if
Steve said they got plans to expand even more.
yeah, I mean, if somebody wants to explore that, I would definitely. You have more customers on there, so why not? So I at least explore it.
Yeah.
But that's my opinion.
I like it.
The toll road plaza has sewer service on the north side. Is that our sewer?
No, that is not. That is owned and maintained by the Travel Plaza.
Okay, so they would have to cross the toll road.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's boring.
But I think the issue they're running into is they may not be able to get development plan approval for septic systems with their proposed development.
There's a lot of water right there.
Yeah.
Was that a matter of boring under the? You know, that
What kind of action do
And
we?
You'd have to look into it.
it could also be that we'd have capacity for wastewater, but we may not have capacity for water because that water system is currently truly designed and only has capacity for the travel plaza.
It's their dime to develop a plan and approach us and say, are you interested in doing this? Is that correct? At this point, it's
Yes,
exploratory.
They have a request for proposals out to consultants to assist them with this. And we're one of those consultants they've reached out to.
okay. Yeah.
So
Okay.
duly noted, and we'll just see what happens in the next 2 to 4 months, something like that. Is that a reasonable expectation?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, I think we're the regional sewer district. This is a reasonable thing to do.
Okay.
Agree.
Thanks, Jerry.
Okay, anything else? Thank you.
No.
Okay, moving on to executive committee.
I think we
we have a couple.
may have, we need to jump back maybe to the ITRCC rate increase discussion,
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, no to rip.
which I will defer to the details to Steve Carter, but essentially our project budget for phase 1 of Saugony relies upon an increase in sewer rates to the toll road administrator, to ITRCC. And they haven't had any increase since we set our initial rate back in 2018, 19, whenever we kind of first went on board with them.
Okay.
But certainly, and again, this is where Steve would come in handier than me, it's appropriate that they bear some of the increase because some of the cost is going to upgrade the waste treatment plant that they produce the greatest amount of waste into.
Yep.
So I think Steve has some potential, what that potential rate increase would be. And if the board was inclined to, I think, make a motion to move forward on that, we'd probably need to be in a position to, the notice statutes are confusing to say the least, but I'm a big believer of more notice is never a bad thing. So I'm not convinced that when we increase the rate versus set an initial rate, we have to go through a public hearing process, but I don't see any harm in going through a public hearing process. There's only one customer really that can object.
Right.
But, so we would, if the board moves forward, if the board agrees that Steve's suggested rate is appropriate, we'd probably have a initial introduction of the ordinance in June, and then have public hearing in July and adoption at the same meeting if the board approved. And then there's additional notices that we need to give them after the meeting that trigger a series of deadlines whereby they could object and petition. And the petition actually isn't to the board, it's to the district authority. We went through this, by the way, in phase 2 of Rolling Prairie. The district authority in the case of LaPorte County, because we're only within one county, would be the county commissioners. So they would file a petition to the county commissioners and object.
Okay.
And so, but it would begin by a motion of the board to authorize me and Steve and JPR, who would help with notices, to kind of move forward on a introduction of a new rate ordinance in the June meeting.
Hey, what do you got, Steve?
What's your recommendation?
So, and I should have printed out copies of this and to refresh your memory, but I don't even have it in front of me, so I apologize. But back when I did the rate study for the most recent rate ordinance that was adopted, as part of that study, there was a calculation done to show a contribution that would come from the toll road account of approximately $4,300 and change per month. And that was calculated based on a pro rata share of the capital cost and soft cost related to the treatment plant upgrades. So just kind of keep that number in mind. 4,300 coming from the toll road account, that doesn't necessarily mean we need $4,300 increase from the toll road, but I think you could certainly justify up to that amount.
The what sort of percent is that of
Yeah,
their?
They're at like 16,000 and
Yeah,
something now, right?
their current rate is, unless it's been changed,
It
at
has
least
not.
when we passed the initial ordinance, it was, excuse me, $15,285 per month was the sewer rate. They obviously also pay a water rate, which is $11,675.
So 26,000 roughly.
But the increase would be justified on the sewer rate side based on the project, since it's not a water project.
Correct.
Yeah, so it would be, I don't know, which is 44, 46,000. That would be more on the sewer side, right?
Correct.
4,600, excuse me.
Yes.
Added to the
15,280.
Yep.
Yeah, per month. So if you're annualizing it, then yes, 46. And there was some discussion, I guess, internally from emails going back and forth to not to muddy the waters, but just it's appropriate to have the discussion that, well, we haven't really looked at water either. Why not take a look at water and see if it's appropriate to adjust water at the same time, since we're already going through the process.
The 4,600 was a monthly or annual payment that we were putting toward the loan?
Monthly.
Monthly.
Okay, for sure.
So if we were to look at something like a 5% increase on water due to, various operational increases that we would need, somebody at Asbury to justify, we would be looking at what, 5% of 11,000, roughly $600 a month to the water.
Yeah, that's a fair statement, is what have the costs, probably both JPR costs and Asbury costs, because both kind of the soft costs and hard costs are involved in how expensive it is to run the water system out there. But I don't know what those would be, what that increase would be from when we began 6 to 7 years ago to now. I gotta believe there's some increase. It's just, is it 5%, 10%?
There's definitely been repairs and.
Yeah, there have
electric
been improvements
costs,
to the
everything.
building, I know, and
Yeah.
things
Yeah,
like
it
that.
has to
And if it
be.
isn't 2% a year, I'd be really surprised. I bet it's more than that.
Right.
Oh, yeah,
So
we had the
when we take it
major,
over,
we had a couple major repairs at the water plant, if you recall.
yeah, so when you take it over, what was it, 6 years, 7 years since we set the rate?
Yeah, the
How hard to
date,
justify that sort of percentage?
I definitely,
Yeah.
I think it was sometime in 2018, at least the ordinance number was 2018-02, so
But when possible, I like to do a 5-year rate hike, 2%, 2%, 2%, or something like that. Maybe that's too much messing around here, because we got to change everyone's rates, but it's a nice way to do it, because then your income comes up over time slowly. People see small increases that are normal increases, because everything goes up a few percent a year.
I mean, certainly, even if we didn't have this project, I would have to believe that 10% rate increases on both sides would be
Yes.
more than reasonable in a 7-year span, which it essentially is. I mean, so the increase related to the project on the sewer side isn't really 25% or whatever it is when you think about it. It's the normal 10% plus maybe another 15% or whatever the number is, related specifically to their portion of the cost to improve the treatment plant.
It's one customer.
To one customer.
yeah,
Rip the Band-Aid off.
but it's a large company.
And I mean, if you want to discuss it, I mean, obviously, the sooner we get it, the better. But if you want to discuss it and get specific numbers on both sides.
I would classify it as important, but not urgent. I'm not saying kick it down the road 6 months, but I'm also not saying that you have to make a decision in June.
I don't want to wait much longer than.
Yeah,
So Jerry, you suggest like increments, like 3 years?
if that's practical,
Who do we ask that
Tonight.
question to, I guess? Is that you, Steve?
Take a look at
I would, yes, I would bring that.
Yeah,
I mean,
think-
along with the ordinance.
Yeah, I think maybe, I can certainly develop a form of ordinance for both sewer and water for them. It may be just an amendment, because we're really not changing unless somebody has an issue with the form of ordinance that we have for them. And remember, they're not really a part of our general ordinance that controls both Saucony and ultimately Hudson and Rolling Prairie. They're their own little unique ordinance. But I mean, we could, and again, we could have somebody, I suppose, like Jerry. I welcome his input, and Steve and JPR, to take a look and see, does the ordinance we used for both sewer and water for ITRCC, does it need to be updated? I mean, and it really wasn't like our current ordinances. I was around, but I really didn't draft that so much. I think that was maybe prepared by the folks at the state as part of kind of this, takeover process when we took over the system. So I don't know that has any of our stamp on it. But I think we could come back to the board meeting in June with a form of ordinance or a form of amendment, and then Steve could probably bring back to the board maybe some recommended, like here's the new recommended rates for water and the new recommended rates for sewer.
I like that idea because we're not jumping into it, but we're still coming up with a small agenda of giving us a month to figure out and see where we're heading. So
Which is great, but we have been kicking this down the road. So we need to get it.
let's not kick it down the road
Yeah.
anymore. We're
Yeah.
trying to get a game plan up.
Yep.
And I
Let's get her done.
agree with you, Barry.
I like the toll roads formula. Their rate increase is based either on 2%, the rate of inflation, or the rate of increase in the GDP, whichever is greater.
You mean for what they charge people who are users of the toll road? Oh.
Right, it's automatic every year.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like that.
that's nice. Nice
They're not
to
going to
know.
argue that.
Right. And we could base ours on that.
Yeah,
huh?
I would just, I'd like to have something from the operators, engineers, to kind of back up on both sides, really. I mean, I think I have plenty of data to support the rate increase on sewer, but I would like to have backup, I guess, from something from Asbury/JPR that says, hey, we've been operating this for 7 years now. Costs are increasing. We anticipate them to continue to increase, whatever it is, from the operator that
Is
says,
a month
hey,
enough?
Well, that's a good
Yeah.
question. I mean,
I think so.
okay. It's worth taking the time because
Yeah, quality.
they do have the ability to object and file objections. And that is, and that isn't just an individual homeowner. That's a
Right.
$1 billion plus business that if they were unhappy or thought that we rushed it or thought that we
And then-
half-assed it would have reason to. So I'd rather have
And then
a
the
nice
board
laid out,
has
yeah.
a basis to make a finding and says,
Absolutely.
based on
That's why it
what
gives
we've
you a
been
month
provided
or
from our
two,
operators,
depending on
here's,
what you find.
But
Right.
we've been talking about this for a while, right? Mm-hmm. We just need to.
Okay. So we'll continue to talk about it.
So would it make sense to
I mean, we're
have,
not starting the billing now on the other customers until July anyway, right? So-
Right.
But that's
What
the long.
what if we asked you to come back in a month with a report, and then if you feel you're ready, we're good. If not, we can give you more time.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right.
But I make the rate.
Get that on the agenda next month, Jennifer. All right,
Well,
moving
I'd
on.
make that motion if we need a motion.
Do we?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to come back next month with a report from Steve Carter in regards to the ITRCC rate increase.
That would be Steve and Barry and JPR. Okay.
Any questions?
Nope.
Proceed to vote. All in favor signify by word aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Executive Committee, is there a meeting?
Hold on, I got one more.
Okay.
We had talked about a draft letter for the project to go out to the property owners with an update. And Steve Henshin is working on that, and I will have that probably from him tomorrow. I think, Jerry, you had sent out an email a couple weeks ago about some bad information out there that people were getting, and maybe sending out a project update.
I think it's worth doing. Some sewer utilities do that once a month, and I don't know if we need to do that, but it's I think we gain some confidence of the public if we tell them what's
Okay.
going on.
So we're
I
going
agree.
to put something together about that. And so Steve will get that out to me, and we'll kind of send that out to the board and to Barry. And then if that kind of meets everyone's approval for review, we can get that out there.
Sounds good.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Moving on to executive committee. Nothing. Engineering committee, no meeting. New business, next meeting, June 24th.
Check my schedule.
Pre-agenda meeting and attendees,
Just
June
one thing.
17th at 9 a.m.
Jennifer, I am planning to be there for the 24th meeting.
Thank you.
Letting you know now.
Thanks. I plan on being there too, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Old business, interlocal agreement. We received 1.5 million from the county and it was deposited into our Horizon account.
Fantastic.
Yeah, thank you to the county. They were,
Yes.
their attorney and the auditor's office were very easy to deal with and easy to get the money funded. So, and we let them know it was kind of important and they got it done. So much appreciated to them.
Yeah.
Appreciate you letting us know.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
they need to, every once in a while, hear good things that they are
Yeah.
doing, and
Yeah, no, they were,
as a board, we appreciate
yeah,
it.
they funded it quicker than really they had committed to fund it so that they could kind of satisfy the concern of Steve and bond counsel. So the auditor and county attorney did a great job.
We appreciate that.
Good deal. Yes. Okay, anything else for the board? Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to adjourn. Any questions? Proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by word aye.
Our
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Meeting adjourned.